The date is the 23rd of July, 2020. I'm busy watching the news, and Cyril Ramaphosa is talking about how everyone's stolen money from the COVID funds and that he's going to do his best to. And they're shutting down public schools for the next 4 weeks. We need to take steps to recover all of the stolen funds. Can you see that? No. Okay, putting that away. Welcome back. It's What's Your Poison, John Savage. I've spent a week in Scarborough on the beach, and I want to move there. Just on the beach, surfing. Well, you can call it surfing, although surfing Scarborough, if you the waves are big and heavy. When you get smashed by a wave in Scarborough, you can spend plenty of time underwater, tumbling around, wondering if you're ever going to see sun again. Um, I love surfing. I'm just crap at it. I've been surfing for years, hundreds of years, thousands of years, but I never got good at it. I just love doing it. Um, but just yeah, that really helped. Things have been quite hectic. So I mean, I know this episode. You might listen to it timelessly, but you might listen to this in 3 years' time. And if you listen to 3 years' time, we're right in the middle of COVID. So this is sort of uh, 9/11 esque in the sense that this is a historic, crazy time where the entire world is changing. So I think what's happening on the news and where headspaces are at is quite cool. Not cool. Important to record how we're feeling because we're all in this crazy fucking thing, all trying to make the most of it. And one day everyone's going to ask us what it was like, and we're not going to be able to just say, "Oh, it was all shit," because it wasn't all. You want to actually participate. I know what I'm talking about. So that was a week in Scarborough. Just got back. I'm feeling a bit zonked from beach and sand, but I'm happy to be here. What's your poison? Um, Loving this podcast. I really, really love doing this thing. Um, and great guest. I mean, phenomenal guest on this week's episode. She doesn't drink, and so we're no whiskey on this one. Fair enough. She is an incredible human being. I'm a mega fan, and I am constantly surprised that people agree to be on this podcast. I'll be honest with you. It's quite cool now because we're getting like such a nice momentum with the caliber of people that are coming on that I'll just tell it's you can't come back from it. I think I've set the bar a bit too high because I'm like really killing these mega stars. And then when I run out or when someone says no, I'm screwed. But I've got to be honest, I'm only talking to people. This podcast is really just a total fun thing for me. Totally fun. I've got no agenda on this thing. I'm not planning to do anything. I'm not planning to monetize it. I shouldn't say that in case I make $652 million on this. Anyway, that's the nature of it. Oh, and I think we have a guest. We do. Amanda
Hi,
Black.
John.
Lovely
Hi,
to see
John.
you. How can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, you look phenomenal for a Thursday night late, as usual.
Sometimes we wanna, cause we locked down. We wanna feel good. Sometimes just dressing up is like, yes, yes, I'm doing something. I'm doing something,
You look
rather than just
gorgeous.
chilling.
What is on your hand?
Oh, so like I was like, oh my word, why I forgot. So I just got a henna tattoo today.
Oh,
Um, yeah.
I
So
thought it
now
was
it's
an
covered
injury.
because no, it's not, it's not, it's not, it's not. So they covered it because like I'm like very, very messy. So they were like, I'm gonna smudge it. So they covered it.
Awesome. Do you do henna tattoos a lot?
No, this was my first time.
But it's not a real tattoo though, is it? It's not a
No,
tattoo
it's
of henna. It's
temporary.
just okay. I'm just making sure. I mean,
Yeah, it's yeah. But they just call it a head tattoo.
yeah, cool, cool. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for joining me. I'm going to start. So, The podcast is called What's Your Poison? The idea is to uncover your vices. I know you don't drink, which is totally fine.
I
Um,
do. I just
yes,
not
not
publicly. Like,
publicly. No, that's totally fine.
yeah.
My question for you is, and you can be totally honest, is it disrespectful if I do? Because I did this, right? I brought two options. I brought a whiskey and ginger ale so that I could do whatever you felt comfortable with.
No, I don't mind if you do.
Okay, so what is your point? What did you bring? You had to bring something to the table.
Yes, so I brought coffee and my favorite chocolate, and like, yay, chocolate, chocolate.
Especially during lockdown. Hey,
Yes,
the chocolate is a problem. Right.
it is a problem because like every other second you feel like chewing, like, I feel like I should be doing something,
Yeah.
and you eat.
Oh, I just need a break. I think I'll eat chocolate. I've got nowhere to go,
Yes,
nothing to do, no one to see.
definitely,
Okay. Well, I'm
definitely.
gonna I'm gonna pour myself a drink. You bite
Yeah.
yourself a chocolate, and we'll get this
Yes.
party started.
Ay,
Aye aye.
ay.
Awesome. Oh man. That's it. That's pretty much the show. We done now. You can go.
Are we done? Oh, great. Thank you for
No, no,
having
no,
me.
no.
Thank you for having me.
Mm, I did check early in lockdown time.
Yes.
Um, you made it. You are in that fortunate position where what you say matters, and you made a comment on social media about supporting the alcohol ban, and a lot of people attacked you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, I think from where I was coming from, when lockdown had just started, I felt like people were. It was regulations. I was simply answering because I was like, I understand now. I understand the jobs. We're losing jobs. Everyone is losing jobs. You understand? I don't know. I think I was supporting it in the sense that I just felt like people were just, I want to drink. I want to drink. And I was thinking, we need to be safe. We need to be safe.
I checked.
That's
They did
that's
just announce like the the alcohol related deaths when before they banned it now went up like 80 something ridiculous percent.
exactly.
Yeah. Were you just
Exactly. So,
watching Cyril now by any chance?
oh no, no, I
Oh
wasn't.
no, I thought you were being all because I just checked him. He's busy saying, oh, the two things he's busy saying is one, schools are closing for 4 weeks, all public schools, and two,
Yeah.
people have been stealing all the COVID fund money, and they're going to get it back. So don't
Okay.
worry.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So
I, I'll believe it when I see it.
yeah. I mean, actually I remember last year when they stole the Legends Fund. Did you see that? The artist legend fund. That was an absolute
Yes.
ish.
Yes.
What have you been up to lockdown?
Hmm.
Have you been active? Have you been creative? Have you been struggling?
I've actually been. I mean, the first 2 months of lockdown, I was at home, so
Mm.
I was more. I think I was in holiday mode. I was refreshing. It was home, you know, and I think it was still the state of uncertainty. What's going to happen? What's happening? What do you
Nothing's
mean we're
changed, by
not
the
gonna?
way.
I know. But I think at that time it was all happening so fast. Um, and I was just at home doing nothing and
Mm.
just feeling. And I think for me, I took that time that I was at home as a restart because I hadn't taken a break for so long. I didn't even know that I needed it because I was always chasing something. I was always doing the next thing. I was always shooting this next album, a song, this. And I think the first 2 months for me were more of a sit
Ah,
down, breathe. Yeah. And since I've been back in Joburg, I've just been making, I've just been creating. I think I really wanted to use whatever we're going through. I wanted to talk about it. And I use my outlet, which is music. So that's what
mm.
I've been doing. Yeah.
Super cool. I'm glad to hear that. You did.
Yeah.
You obviously needed a break because you. I mean, you have been you're going so fast, And I kind of saw from the outside, you went through all that crazy shit with Ambitious and then just kept on stepping. You just kept on going. There was no, look, you didn't sort of take downtime. You were on to the next thing.
Yeah. Oh, I remember I felt so much pressure because, everyone was in my head. If I leave, my career is over. So the whole thing was, I'm gonna prove. I'm gonna
Mm.
prove. You know, someone
Revenge
telling
is a
you that.
strong motivator.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I'm gonna prove to everyone who's thinking that my career is over that I'm gonna do it. So there was no moment where I was, I'm breathing, because I was
Mm.
always like, I'm fighting, I'm fighting, I'm fighting, and then I was back. Then it's power. Then I'm pushing, I'm pushing, I'm pushing. So really, COVID me, it gave me the forced sit down and breathe moment.
What do you think it is about? I mean, not to drag you there, but I'm interested. You know, the stories about
Mhm.
Ambitious are all over the place. Um, what do you think it is that's going on? I mean, they find great talent. Really, they seem like an amazing record label in what they're able to do, what they're able to achieve, and then at some point, everyone starts jumping ship.
Yo, John. Uh,
Are we going
I,
deep?
I, I don't even look. I mean, for everyone, the experience is different, similar in a lot of ways. But I think for me, I have no idea what's happening. Honestly, at this point, record labels, especially indies, man, we really thought indies were there for the artists, and then we're seeing independent labels exploiting artists even worse than majors. It's really really heartbreaking. And that's exactly what's happening.
Mm.
And yeah, and I don't know. I don't know what's going to change. I don't know what's going to fix it. More and more artists are leaving. I think the industry needs to sort of, I don't know, at this point, sort of step in. I don't know, you know?
What was your wake up call?
My wake up call. My wake up call was my wake up call was when January came and we had been gigging, obviously, the whole of 2016, and I was broke, and then I'd remembered that before, when I signed, the agreement was that I would get a salary per se, but it was an advance every month, and then I would have to pay it off, obviously, and then I would start getting paid with my gig money when I start gigging.
Mm.
So January came, and then the wake up call came when the conversation happened. The, hey, remember now, I started
I'm
working
ready.
now.
Ready to
So
get paid now.
yeah, so I want to get paid now. I wanna. So when that conversation happened, excuse me, when that conversation happened, and there was a drawback, there was a sort
Mm.
of a no. That's when I was like, what do you mean no? And then everything sort of tumbled when I was like, oh, you don't want to pay me. You want me to keep owing. I see you now. So that's
Ish.
when the wake up call happened, when I realized, oh no, no. And then obviously it was gradual. At first, you want to fix the relationship, you want to be on the same page, so you try and
Especially
compromise
if you
here and
feel
there.
that you might not be able to do it without them. I don't know if you did or didn't, but
Exactly. Oh,
yeah.
definitely. I was at that point. I mean, my career had just started. I was now winning awards. Everything was all happening at that time. So it was more of a I don't want to rock the boat.
Mm.
So this is happening, but I don't want to rock the boat. So you try and like, hey, hey, hey. But then it sort of happened gradually when the trust really started breaking down, and it got to a point where it just wasn't fixable.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can we talk about you getting in? I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to confess. I'm crazy about you. I think you are one of my favorite artists ever
Cute.
out of South Africa. And when I working with you on that Amped project, I just saw in you what is missing from like you are a role model. Your talent is ridiculous. But I also know you've had a tough road
Thank
to
you.
get where you are, and you've kind of had the odds mainly stacked against you from your background, your everything. So I'm interested in going back to when you got into music, or even earlier
Yeah,
than, I know you did sort of an Idols audition, but before that,
yeah.
sort of culturally, what were you growing up on, and where were you going?
So I grew up on a lot of South African music, like Brenda Fassie, Lucky Dube, Miriam Makeba. That's the kind of music that was playing, like on the old vinyl players. So for me, started singing very, very young, and the journey with music started when I was in primary
Sorry,
school. Like I
sorry to
started,
interrupt you. I just have to tell
yeah.
you. I told you on WhatsApp, but that your version of Weekend Special is insane. It is insane.
Thank you.
And you better be recording that, and if not, you can have Amped and come and record it there. I demand that you record that. I mean, your version is crazy.
Thank you. Oh man, I love that song. And I love performing it because I always feel like it's a tribute to Brenda, and I'm like, yeah.
Do you want to know something? The bass player who wrote and played on that song, his name is David. Ow, I can't remember. He's come to Amped a few times looking
Really?
for work. We're looking for something to do. You should do that track with him on bass.
Oh, that would be insane.
Yeah, we're
That
gonna
would
make
be
that
actually
happen.
really crazy.
Yes,
You're gonna
I'm
make that
gonna
happen?
commit. I'm making that happen.
I would
Anyway,
love to do that.
back to you, as you were saying.
Yeah, so my journey with music, I started singing, doing talent shows in high school, primary school, started in primary school, really started getting into the performing in front of people.
Hmm.
And then the really when I really started doing the serious, or actually doing music actively, is when after I matriculated, when I got to varsity is when I started doing gigs and I started
Hmm.
performing. Well, I mean, granted, I mean, most of those gigs I started doing really did wasn't paying. So I did a lot of free gigs, but they were gigs. A lot of free gigs at school, but I really
Those are
got
gigs.
into, pardon.
Those are gigs.
Yeah, no, those are gigs. Those,
Yeah.
they definitely do their job. They definitely do the job. Because I really started getting into the magic of performing, and that's when, and I've always wanted to have a career in music because I've always dreamt of being. I always used to say when I was little, I want to be a famous singer. So the career in music really was always the dream that I always wanted to sing. So I think I'd say I entered the industry when I started when I started performing, which would have been 2012, and that's when the
I
journey
see.
started. Started knocking on doors and getting no's, experiencing rejection for the first time. Because once I started performing is when I actually started now engaging with people as well.
Mm,
There were
mm.
some people who enjoyed me. There were some people who blatantly showed me that shut up. You know what I'm saying?
How?
So
How
that
could
was the
anyone
first
hear
time.
you and go, "This girl can't sing"? It's not
It's
possible.
preference. I don't know. I don't know. But that's when I started performing is when I started really experiencing the ups and downs and the rejection and learning
Mm.
to deal with that. And then obviously the idols journey came, which made me very much stronger because then there's more rejection that came on a bigger scale.
Ish, yeah,
Then
that's proper rejection.
yeah. So that was a crazy journey. But definitely understanding rejection is a very good trait to have in this type of business because it's on every corner.
Yeah.
There
Yes.
are more no's than yeses. That's why we make
I'm,
the most of the yeses.
and is it more difficult to come into this industry being coming from a Xhosa background than a Zulu background, or not really?
What do you mean?
Well, I always hear. I mean, look, I'm a Namlungu here, so I always hear in the rap world
Okay.
that if you're not a Zulu rapper, it's very hard to get into the game. So
I didn't know this.
those Xhosa rappers worked super hard to sort of break the mold to be able to break in there. So I just was wondering if that was something. Obviously not. This is new information to you.
I know this is the first time I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. No. This is the first I've heard of this.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, the answer to that's easy. No.
No.
Yeah,
Because yeah. No.
yeah. And your songwriting. I mean, you are doing all your songwriting, most of it,
Yes.
all of it. When did you become a
99,
songwriter?
99.9. wait, that's 0.0 yes,
Yeah.
99.9%. Yeah.
I mean, that's also that's almost as impressive as your singing ability. How did you learn to do that? Because that isn't something that is easy to do. I mean, that takes a lot of hard work, right?
Which one? Singing
The
or
songwriting part.
the songwriting?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for the compliment. For me, for a very long time, I had been writing. I started writing when I was 16, but I didn't call it writing because I used to just pick up the guitar and then I'd just play and I'd sing whatever comes to my mind or whatever I'm feeling. So for many, 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 many years, even when
Mm.
I started actually making songs, I didn't know that I didn't call myself a songwriter because I never felt like I was good enough. Up until Amazul is when I sort of understood my pen, and I was like,
Hey,
okay, I'm a
I can use
writer.
this.
That's what, yeah. When I was in the industry, when now people would get like, oh, yo, that song, who wrote that song? You? I'm like, yes. They're like, yo, that song is. I'm like, well, you are telling me my, and like, then that's when I said, oh, I've been writing, but yeah. So that's when I really started understanding my gift. But it is definitely something that I grew over time and has only gotten better. The more I did
Mm-mm.
it, the more I do it. Yeah.
Who is your favorite artist of all time ever?
Of all time ever.
Ever. I asked this the hard questions.
Brenda Fassie.
Oh,
It's
yes,
not
really.
obvious.
You,
Of all time
I,
ever.
that's news to me. I didn't know that
Is
because
it?
I'm in that camp as well. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that woman was, I mean, unbelievable,
Like
unbeatable, unmatched.
a superstar. Like she was a mega star who knew she was a mega star.
Ah.
And she knew herself. And that's why she didn't even I liked the fact that she owned who she was, and
Mm.
she was not fake. She was not trying. She was just about the music. She was there for that, and that was that. And she loved people. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think that's one of the things that make her the greatest of all time.
I shouldn't say this, but I've been holding on to. I've got footage, absolutely unbelievable, never before seen footage of Brenda.
No.
Not only like in an incredible setting, interacting with other great people, but also a
Yeah.
performance that I don't know what to do with it. I've been planning for
What do you
years to put some.
mean?
Pardon?
What do you mean you don't know what to do with it?
Well, okay, this is the thing. First of all, you know the industry, right?
Yes.
It's very intense, and you don't know me, but I've had a long history in this industry of getting into big trouble and fighting against record labels, being signed. I've been through it all. Like I was signed to Sony, I was signed to EMI. I've been at war with all the record labels numerous times. It's been a very bumpy road, but the one thing I know is like the Brenda Fassie Foundation universe is very hectic. And once you start playing in that world, like there are people who come for you. So I want to do something cool with it, but I also know like my kind of idea is to put it on YouTube, but I don't know if that'll get me
Yeah.
into more trouble or little trouble. Have you ever met Bongani?
No.
Do you have any desire to? I mean, I don't.
I mean,
I met
why?
him years ago. No, no, because so I met Bogani many years ago. I was working on the South African Music Awards, and we brought him
Uh-huh.
on as a guest artist. And here's this kid who grew up under the Brenda Fassie name. He's had a really, really tricky time trying to. How much do you know? I don't know how much you know about Bongani Fassie. Anything?
I don't know a lot.
He
I
has
just know
tried
he
very.
was in Josie.
He, yeah, yeah. He
And yes.
very lovely guy, like amazing dude with a heart of gold who tried to break into the hip hop scene, and I think he tried. This is what I think. Jeez, I'm not making any sense here. I think he was handed the keys to this kingdom. He was too young. He had no guidance, and it's become a very dramatic sort of difficult mess up, that whole Brenda Fassie affair. And I know there's a feature film they're making about her right now, but
Mm-hmm.
everyone's fighting with them. Everyone's suing each other for the rights of it. I hope that it comes out. But
Yo.
yeah, and that's why I said I don't know what to do with the footage, because I think once you're in Brenda Fassie's universe, it's it isn't a nice place to be in terms of the. I don't know why I'm saying this. People are gonna start phoning me. Give me that footage. I heard you talking to a man about that thing. Zoop.
Please do not get me in trouble. I'm not trying to start
It's not
nothing.
you. It'd be me. They all come for me. Don't worry. I'm used to it
Yeah,
now.
but then I'm now included because I'm in
Oh
this
yeah,
conversation.
this was all Brenda's. This was all Amanda's idea, by the way. She wants. She.
Do not throw me under the bus.
No, it's done. You're done. Your career's done. Um, do you have any Brenda Fussy vinyl?
I do not.
Do you know how hard it is to get? They cost. I've got one. They cost like 1,000 rand to find for a Brenda Fussy vinyl. If you find
Where
one,
can I find one?
you
Because I do
won't.
not.
I
What
have
do
them,
you mean?
but I hunt for them for years. They take years to find one. Unless maybe your parents have them lying about, you should get them.
I should definitely.
Favorite Fussy song of all time?
Too late for mama.
Oh, gee,
For
that
mama.
song
And I
hurts my
haven't
soul.
even performed it.
Sing for me now. Sing.
10 kilometers barefooted in the bush. Poor woman with a baby on her back. Hey! Don't get me started.
Oh my God. I'm going to tell you the craziest
Ah,
thing ever.
what?
2 weeks ago, I interviewed Kurt Darren on this program.
Yeah, yeah.
He's got a new album out called South African Songbook, and he sings
Okay.
Vulindlela on the track with the
Really?
Soweto Gospel Choir.
With the Soweto Gospel Choir.
And I'll tell you
Oh,
this, when
wow.
he sings the Brenda Pods, your eyes will
Yeah.
pop out. It's amazing. I mean, it's
All right.
surprising, but it's amazing.
Okay. I need to check it. I'll check it out.
Cool. I mean, I'm happy to talk about Brenda for the rest of the show, if that's cool. No, I'm joking.
May her soul rest in peace. I hope she's not
No,
finding
what a
herself
legend.
where she is because we're talking about her.
She can hear us, man. Wow. Projects that you're working on coming out, because surely this must have been very tricky. You are releasing singles, and then suddenly we hit lockdown, so there's no more music videos. You're in the middle of a flow. You got to replan everything, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
I was literally on tour. I had just had my first show and we're
yes,
about to announce more dates for the tour. Ah, like I think that's what I was saying. The 2 months really,
yes.
I'm so happy I wasn't home because it was such a hard hit,
Was
because I was like,
Indizele Wena the first single from that, or the
no,
second? Or
Ndizele is the third single. So
third?
the first single was Tanwandim, and then the
Ah,
second
yes.
single was Egoli, and then
Right, 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 right.
Ndizele is the third single.
So
Yeah.
did you, so are you still doing? Are you still on the single run? Just no videos.
I'm currently actually I'm dropping my next video at the end of this month.
How did you do a
Dropping a couple
video?
of videos. Pardon?
How did you do a video?
Oh no, but it's open. The moment that they opened
Oh,
broadcasting,
oh, I
they
see.
opened up filming, but then obviously you need to adhere to the
Yes.
COVID-19 regulations and stuff.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
like the amount of people at the shoots, everyone must wear a mask and
Yes.
all of that, sanitizers. So so that we were able to shoot.
Your favorite South African artists right now?
uh Amifaku.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
yours taste.
I,
We're gonna
I
get
think
on
she's
just fine.
I think she's magical. I think she's magical. Yeah.
You don't have to answer this. Artists you don't rate.
I'm not answering.
Why don't you rate them? What is the thing you have an issue with?
What do you mean? Like, not. I mean, come on, John. I mean, there's good music, and then okay. Let me actually just say it's preference. So, I mean, I could be like, I don't like, and then another person can be like, I like. So that is why I can never say, it's not good. But, ish, but
Mm.
some music is not good. John, let us not continue with the subject. I don't want to get in trouble. Hey,
You
hey,
see,
hey. Me, I like to be beef free.
this is yeah. You see, this is the beauty. Well, it's not. This is the beauty of this podcast is that usually my guest is a couple of whiskeys in by now, and the tongue gets a little looser. So you're the smart one. You're the smartest person I've interviewed so
Me, I
far.
came here with my coffee.
you, you got me.
We
Nice.
tried.
Would you ever? I mean, forgive me if I don't know all of this stuff. In case these
Yeah,
things, I don't know. Even though I'm a part of the industry, I don't know or care actually what's happening in the scene and
in the
stuff.
industry.
Are you? Would you sign again to another label?
Not likely. It depends what kind of deal it is. Like, I mean, at this point, in my mind, the
Mm.
only deal I would sign is with the label international, an international label.
And is that
Yeah,
something
I
you
mean,
hunting?
I wouldn't say hunting. I don't like. I feel like, especially when if you're hunting for it, I don't like being desperate, especially in those situations, especially when
Mm.
negotiating for stuff. So it's not something I'm like, I'm definitely, if it comes,
Actively
I'm getting
pursue.
it now. Yeah,
Mm.
I'm not chasing it, but I definitely, it's in the future. If the deal is good, hey, but if the deal works, because
Look
I
at
feel
you
like
talking about
no
deals.
deal is good. I feel like no deal is good for any artist. I don't
Right.
know. That's just how I feel. I think we'll be good when we own our stuff
Have you
and
performed?
are able to fund our careers. Pardon?
Have you performed outside of South Africa before?
Yes. I haven't, like, I've performed where, okay, outside of South Africa. We're talking about borders. Lesotho.
Nice.
Yes.
That counts.
I performed in Swaziland,
Hmm.
performed in Botswana,
Cool.
performed in Kenya,
Cool.
um, and I recently performed in Malawi. Yeah.
Awesome. And these have been private gigs or these festivals?
Um, most of them have been private gigs. Oh,
Right.
and I performed in London, which was also a private gig.
Cool. Who was the? Can you tell me what was the private gig? Was it well
It
for
it
someone?
was a gala dinner. It was a South African company
Hmm.
that operates in London, and then they booked me. So the branch in London, then they booked me to go perform there, which was really cool.
Was it your first time to London?
Yes, and it was cold because we
And
went
it
there
was
like
in the winter. Eey.
in the winter, but
How
it
long
had
were you
just
there for?
started. We were there for like, I think, 2 weeks. So we had just arrived, and they were like, "So winter had just started," and we were freezing. Everyone there's like, "Guys, it's not cold.
This is not cold.
You guys don't know cold. This is not cold. This is like just after summer." So we were freezing. I had like my everything covered up. So, but that was
And did you
that was
go?
cool.
Did you go sightseeing?
We did. I wish we had more time though, because we didn't get to do everything. Well,
That's the
everything we
one
wanted.
negative thing about touring. I remember we toured because we toured internationally a lot, and all I remember thinking was, I want to come back to this place one day and actually spend some time and have a look at it because I didn't know where we
Yeah.
were, what we were seeing, what language to speak.
That's the one thing I wish I had. I mean, this is my fourth year in the industry, and I've been to so many places, but I never really even got to really sightsee because I'm always there, perform, next day I'm home.
It just
So,
helps you
or
create a
perform.
bucket list for one day
Yeah, and
visiting.
like, when I come back, I'm going to come back and do this, do this, do
Yes.
this. Yeah.
I'll tell you, we went. Well, actually, it was the second. I still haven't never done it. When I had
Yeah.
a band years ago, we went to. We were one of the first South African bands to tour Japan, the East,
What?
and Tokyo. blew my mind in half, and I was like, no matter what it takes,
You're
I've
coming
got to
back.
come back here. It took me 12 years. I went back. No, maybe 10 years later. 10 years later, I went back. But
Oh, at least you went back.
and also I went back for work. That's the saddest part. I'd planned to go
Hmm.
back, but it was very different.
But it was for work.
Yeah. So I still plan to go. I want to take, you know what? I want to take my family because I've got a little kid who's 5, and Tokyo is the funnest place in the world that kids
For kids.
need to see. It's crazy.
Oh wow.
Mm,
No way.
yeah.
That's so cool. I wanna travel.
So all the music you're writing now, you have to put it all in a vault because you're on the last album's tour cycle, right?
Pardon?
All the new music that you're making in lockdown,
Yes.
you have to put it into a little vault where no one can hear it because you're still on the tour cycle of the previous album, right?
Yeah, I'm actually currently working on my next album.
Ah,
The hustle never stops.
no.
I think I didn't want to stop creating, and then I
Mm,
realized I think with Corona, with the lockdown, everyone is online, so everything is happening pretty quickly. Like, and news is like every day, every day. I thought it's music. I mean, at this
yeah.
point, nothing is guaranteed. Corona hit us. We didn't even know it was coming, and I just felt, look, I can't wait to release the next project. I really was like, at this. I mean, a few months ago, I was like, no, I wanna take like 3 years, let people sit on let people sit on the album. But now
That
I'm
was
just feeling
forever. That
like,
was a different lifetime.
exactly. It doesn't work like
Mm,
that anymore. People are dropping singles every month. So although I also don't want to be churning out music just to be taking out music,
mm,
but I do feel like I'm very inspired right now by how I feel. And artists, we thrive in times of despair. It sucks, but that's how it is. And
mm.
so right now I'm saying a lot, I'm feeling a lot. So I just like, I can't wait to share this with people. So I am working on my next project, which is probably dropping early next year though.
Have you got a little home studio so that you can just whenever you're ready to roll, you roll, or do you have to?
Yeah, there's my mic over there. And
Oh,
then, yeah, this is my, okay, there. Okay,
give me
but
a
like,
tour. A tour of the Black Studios.
it's very, no, I didn't prepare the other side, John. I only
Oh.
prepared this specific space. Now you want me to show you everything?
Uh,
But yeah, it's very small. I just have my Apollo Twin sound card and
mm,
my laptop, and then I'm good. I got my two monitors and my
mm,
Aston. I forgot the name of this one now. I was using a Spirit before. This one is new,
mm.
but it's an Aston. But yeah, and that is my corner in the lounge.
Quan,
Literally, that's where my
do
studio
you
is.
produce yourself?
I have my producer,
Ah,
but when I got my setup, which was a few months ago, I
yes.
started like making my ideas, like little demo versions of, yeah.
That's fun,
So I
hey.
just, yeah, and I have like a MIDI controller, so like I create like my stuff there, and or I play my guitar, and then I record it,
Can you
and then
play
I
the
put it on
piano?
my. I not like play, but I
No,
play. I can play.
you can play. You
Like I
can
can
do
play. I
Vanilla
mean,
Ice.
I yes, yes, I can learn a song. Like I used to
Yeah.
know how to play "Don't You Remember"
Oh,
on there because I learned it, and then yeah. But I know because I studied music, so I know like the
oh, cool.
notes and everything. But don't ask me to be like, play something, Amanda. It's not gonna work.
I liked it earlier when you were talking about the deal and talking about. Are you obviously way more in control of your career these days, managing? I mean, I know you have
Yeah,
a team of people, but how active are you in big decisions and in deals and looking at things?
very,
That's the big lesson.
very.
Hey, that's the ultimate trap right there. Is being
Yeah.
lulled into not bothering and then going, well, that was really dumb.
Exactly. And then you don't even know where you are in your career. You don't even know what's happening. You don't know how anything works, and you're depending on people to know all of this for you.
Mm,
You can, I mean, you can learn something but still have someone do it for you, but you still need to understand how it works because it's your business. So
Mm.
that's one of the things that I learned, from my previous situationship. my previous
Nice.
my
Yes.
previous situationship is that I realized I needed to be, but I've always been in control of my career. I've always, as when at the moment I got out of school and
Mm.
I started it, I've always been the driver of it. So when I sort of let go of the reins because I thought that I had met people that see the vision, will help me, will know people who know better than me, who will be able to take what I'm giving, you know what I'm saying, and make it and then then it turned out to not be that.
But it's
And
good. These are
no,
all
but it's
great
good.
lessons
And
that prepare you for the big
for
time.
something, exactly, like I don't
Mm.
even regret it. I definitely learned so much about myself, and I'm
Mm.
so happy it happened quickly, that it happened so early in my career, that already now I'm like, oh, I already know so much. I'm still learning, but I definitely now can navigate better. So I'm really grateful for that experience.
And what kind of people do you surround yourself with in terms of your team? Are they friends? Are they professionals? Or how do you build your little small group?
You know how I how I operate. It becomes a family because my music is very close to me, and I need to be able to, and because I've also been hurt, I need to be able to trust you with it. So the
Mm.
people I keep around me are people that are very much like-minded, and not even just about Amanda, but just in their lives, people who have goals, ambitions. This is who can see a vision, be like, we're all going there. So yeah, those are the type of the people in my team, like, because
And do
I'm
they
very, I want this, and this is where we're going. So that's the kind of people I need to be like, okay, where we going? We're going. How we going? So that's how I am. I'm very
and do you
like
have
this.
people on your team who say this is not a good idea? Like, do they push
Oh
back?
yeah,
Or yeah, yeah.
definitely, definitely. I mean, even my friends, people that even my family, like, are people that would be like, no, that's not great. Do it again.
No.
Try again.
Try
Write
again.
a
Oh,
different one.
try again
Yeah.
hurts. That's a hurtful thing to say to someone.
It is, but you know what? I have to take it. And then
Yeah.
sometimes I'll fight. Sometimes I'll fight, but because I have real people around me, even if I'm like, no, this is what I'm doing, I'm like, but it's not nice. It's not the one. And then I'm like, but then at some point I do
Yeah.
realize, actually, no, it's just my ego talking. It's not the
Mm.
one. Yeah.
You don't have to answer this. Do you have time for relationships in your career, or is that not important to you, or is it?
I wouldn't say, I mean,
See, you're supposed to be drunk by
I
now.
was,
You see what I'm saying?
but no.
Jokes.
No, I was in a relationship, and sadly it didn't work out. But okay, it's life. So I wouldn't say I don't have time. I welcome connections. I love meeting people. I love
Mm.
people. So I really do welcome connections, friends, and whatever it may be. But it really is tricky though, because the way our lives are not routine,
Mm.
you can't really plan. So it's really hard to
Yes.
plan sometimes because anything can happen. And like, oh, Amanda, we got a gig. It's tomorrow. And then,
Well, not anymore.
you know, and you're going, or Amanda, there's an interview in 1 hour, or
Ah.
somebody just called and they want to talk to you, something like that. That's how
Mm-mm.
our industry is. It's like this. So sometimes I think, I don't know, yeah, it is a bit of a tricky thing to balance everything out.
Mm.
But we're learning, figure it out.
You have a strong relationship with your parents.
Yes, I do. My mom and I have gotten so much closer since I've moved away from home. I think, yeah, I think what proximity was
Mm.
the problem. I think every kid every kid needs to be away from their parents at some point, because you have a new found appreciation for your parents when
Mm.
you get into the real world, especially if your parents are, people that are present. So when I left home, I started obviously getting to the real world and, oh, mommy, so it's like this. Oh, I want you here. I want to come
Mm-hmm.
back. So as I'm growing now into a young woman, our relationship is also strengthening because now I'm able to relate. I understand her more as well. And I think now she understands me better now because I'm also able to communicate it.
Right.
So I think, yeah. So yes, the answer to your question is
I
yes.
don't know. I'm gonna put up this invitation for you, even though you have no pressure to take it. But I've always had this idea, and I
Hmm.
actually kind of did it recently, and that is I wanted to do a podcast where people, kids, interview their parents, but seriously, because it's so weird when you grow up, you never really consider that your parents were cool, that they
Yeah.
did hectic things, that their lives were like insane and they were just like you. And I always wished because when my dad passed away, which was maybe 12 years ago, I was like, I didn't know. Why didn't I ask him all these questions? So on this series, like this is season 2 or 3 of What's Your Poison, and
Yeah.
amongst my sort of season of artists, I put my mum right in the middle, and I interviewed her on this
What?
podcast. It was really
That
cool,
is so cool.
and I invite you to do the same. It's quite crazy. I don't know why. It's that relationship with your parents. You always feel like a kid, um,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so you don't ever think, oh, they also have feelings and are people.
People.
Yeah. They've seen stuff. They're not just old fuddy
Yeah.
duddies. They've seen it all.
Yeah. They
They
feel
also had hopes and
things.
dreams to be a singer, maybe.
Ah, yeah. I realize that now, Shem. I feel bad now for being so hard on my mom as a child. I understand
Did
now.
Were any of them musicians in your family or had music in them?
Yeah, I come from a musical family on both
Mm,
sides. My mom sings. My aunt used to actually sing and perform.
mm,
But then no one really took it further. They had other things that they did and that they enjoyed doing. So I'm basically the first one in from my mom's side to go for the music. My uncle loves music. He also had a dream of being like a panzola, but I'm really the first one. My grandmother sings, my grandfather sings,
are they
so
all
it really
super
is.
chuffed with you?
Yeah, no, like so they weren't shocked when I wanted to do music because I grew up singing with them and having music being a part of my life. Every celebration, it was music. We'd sing
Mm.
whenever we felt like it. And then if somebody starts a song, everyone would break out into song. The entire family. Now you see everyone at the lounge singing. It was that kind of
Cool, man. You
upbringing that
must
I
do
had.
one song with them.
That would
Ah.
be magical.
I'm sure you hate this question. I don't care. Um, your amazing style that you walk, when you walk into a room, the whole room just lights up. It's so unique. It's so beautiful. Where's
Oh,
that come
thank
from?
you.
Surely you have a fashion range coming at some point, or have I missed that?
I don't know. Maybe it's clear.
Must diversify.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. um, I don't know. I dress how I think or how I feel. I'm very colorful inside. I've always been a colorful person since I was a child. I was always a very bubbly child, very friendly, laughing, naughty, very, very naughty,
What
but
I you
very.
you don't
What?
strike me
What?
as the naughty type.
Really? Do I look like
Yeah.
I was a sweet, very? I was polite, but I was
Yes.
naughty. So
Yes. Oh,
like
that's the
when
worst
when
kind. Worst combo.
yeah, so when you get mad at me, you still have that thing of she's even apologizing
You
and
see,
she's
that's
like sad.
sly. That's hard to be cross with.
You're like, why is she? Ah, now she's being polite, this little child, but and then you kind of forgive. So, so my style comes from that. I and also my style comes from I moved around a lot as a child, so I was exposed to very different types of people, environments, I lived in East London. I moved around a lot in the Eastern Cape, and then I also like lived in Pretoria for about 2 years. So I met a lot of people, and I think that attributes to how I'm so colorful.
Why did you move around a lot?
So I grew up. So I was born in Umtata.
Uh-huh.
My mom was in her, I think, her last year of varsity when she got pregnant. You see, so I stayed in Umtata for about 6 months as a baby,
Mm.
and then I grew up in Butterworth with my grandparents. And then my
Ah,
mom graduated, yeah, and then my
where's
mom finished
Butterworth?
school. Butterworth is in the Transkei.
Hey.
Yeah. So um yeah, so my mom went to finish school, and then she left and went to, actually she came to Gauteng to get a job. And then so I was raised by my grandparents.
Mm.
And then I moved, and then when I started getting older, my mom was like trying to get me now to live with her. So I moved grade 5, I went to East London and lived with my aunt. And then grade 6 and 7,
Wow.
I came to Pretoria to live with my mom. That's when I lived with my mom for
Right.
grade 6 and 7. Yeah. And then I went back to the Eastern Cape. I went to Mtata. So basically, I was like, my mom got a job in PE, and then I couldn't get a school in PE. So then I went back to Butterworth, and then I went to
Wow.
study in Mtata for my grade 8. And then I went to PE to live with my mom eventually.
That's very
And then I
hectic to
matriculated.
keep
Yes,
friends.
PE is the place I've lived the longest. I
Huh.
matriculated there and I finished my tertiary there.
I was born there.
Really? No
Yeah.
way. I am Kaya. I don't know the neighbor, but in English it doesn't sound as, as,
Uh,
because like neighbor, but then in Xhosa I'm Kaya. It's like
okay.
family.
Oh. Did you say
Yeah.
Mkaya or Mkaya?
Mkaya.
Mkaya. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm just programming it. I'll forget it by
Yeah,
tomorrow, but
no,
then I
no,
can
no.
listen back and then remember.
Okay.
So is your style, is it just a combination of all, is it got traditional elements and different elements, or how have you built all of these amazing bits, or is it just whatever I feel?
So I'm a rock star, I've
I
always thought of
noticed.
myself. Yeah. I've always thought of myself as always going against the grain and just being me, completely alternative and just crazy. So I love I'm bold, like I'm very loud in the way I express myself. And
Hmm.
I've always been like that. I'm very proud and I'm here. So with my style, I'm a rock star, but I'm very, very, very heavily, very drawn to my culture. I love my
Hmm.
culture. And it took me very many, many, many years to get to a point where I embrace it fully and I wanted to represent that. So that's how it comes out now. The Xhosa and the colors are very, very, I didn't realize it, but the colors that I wear are very, very much cultural because we are very cultural. Our tribes are very, very cultural.
Hmm.
So that's where the style comes from. It's like the meeting of the rock star
Hmm.
and the
And
Xhosa
the
girl.
and
Yeah.
and the and the dots.
The dots are the Xhosa. The dots are the Xhosa. So I created this design for I don't know if I created it, but I settled on this design
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
myself. Like Xhosa women, we like now we do this a lot for celebration. You'll find us, with our faces decorated, and you find us in traditional clothing. Whereas if you go deep in the rurals, they still pretty much do ikalamine, or I mean, they use white clay, and
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
do the dots and the decorations. Yeah.
So do you get a lot of praise for doing that, or is it seen as that you're bastardizing it?
I actually get a lot of love. I don't. I think it's
I wasn't. That wasn't a controversial question. I'm just interested
no,
because I
no,
don't know enough
no,
about
no,
it. I
no.
wasn't going like,
No, I'm
yeah.
not even. I wasn't even there. I was actually
Okay.
thinking about how actually I've received a lot of love for it. I
Yeah.
think especially from a lot of parents, because a lot of the kids are responding to it, and I've seen so many. When I go to shows, sometimes I see the kids, they
Mm.
arrive and they've got the dots, and it's something so beautiful to see. people, because I embrace my culture and because I
Mm,
embrace who I am, a lot of people even come up to me and tell me that, like, because you are you and you embracing yourself and you are presenting Xhosa people, it kind of makes someone, that admires you want to
mm.
embrace themselves too.
It's
So
it's
that has been
awesome.
something really, really amazing for me. And I say it's an accomplishment because it took me a long time to love me. So
Mm.
if I can do that for someone else, ah, I
I love
won.
it so much. I love everything about you because I think one of the things that is missing, and even when you said earlier that you were a deep Brenda fan, one of the things that I'm so inspired by and committed to is honoring our legacy. It's something we don't do very well in South Africa. We have such amazing history and legends and cultures that are ignored heavily or not
Yeah,
respected properly in the today stuff. So whenever I see anything that brings history into the present, I always feel
yeah,
like really strongly and inspired about it. So
yeah.
it's awesome that you're doing that.
No, I feel like we've stopped a very African tradition that has stopped over the years is that the passing
Mm,
down of not just culture but also our history, our stories, what our great 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 grandparents used to do and sit around the fire and tell stories and passing down of knowledge. And I think that's where we've lost it. I mean, how some kids, you'll say, they'll be like, "Do you know who Michael Jackson is?" Like, they don't know who Michael Jackson is. They don't know who Brenda Fassie is because it's not being
don't
passed
say that.
down.
That's just hurtful.
It's painful. It's like, how do you
Yeah.
not know, my brr? It's like you need
Mm,
to know this because it's our history. It's part
yeah.
of our history and who we are, where we come from as a people, and how we've. So
Mm.
I think that's what we've stopped doing. Also, just not passing down the stories. And I think also in South Africa, our artists are not very well documented.
Mm.
And I
That's
think
a
maybe
big,
that's where,
big thing.
yeah,
That
and
is
I
a big
think
deal.
that's where we're missing it. We're missing everything. We're missing the magic. We're missing,
Mm.
ah, we're missing a lot. And
So
people,
that is. Sorry, carry on.
yeah, yeah, and then our artists die, our legends are dying, and we don't even know the power and the transformation that they brought with the music and what they did for the industry, what they did for people's souls. And that for me is really, really sad.
Mm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was saying about this footage I've got of Brenda, and that's why
Yes.
I it's not only Brenda. I definitely feel that a project needs to happen now,
Yeah.
um, documenting our history. I mean, these were gods and goddesses that were selling out stadiums and selling millions of albums and transforming culture, and we don't treat them that way. I mean,
Yeah.
they until they die. Then we go like, "Oh my God, what a legend!" Well, what
Doing
were you doing for the last
tributes.
5 years while the guy was starving to death?
Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's and
We need
also
to do better.
they were not a lot of them left now. The last few years have not been good to our legends.
Yeah. And
She's
and and eh, and we need the knowledge. Like I said, there's no passing
mm.
down. There's a disconnect. There's a disconnect between the generations of artists.
Are you doing that at all in your music as well?
What?
The sort of historical, like, even doing a cover of Weekend Special is what I'd say. I don't know, maybe your lyrical content is there. You say you bring, well, your heritage into your style. Do you bring it into
Yeah,
your music as well?
but definitely. I mean, with Power, I
Yes,
I referenced Onamba. Hamba
of course.
pekile,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
usuhlala ndawonye. And that's like an old song. I mean, that's a song even we used to sing at home. Like, I mean, during celebrations. So for me, it is very important. And sometimes I don't do it on purpose. Sometimes it just happens. Like that song, I remember I heard it. I mean, it's a
Mm.
song I know, but then and then we sampled it, and then what came from it and how I interpreted that song at that time, for me was a tribute, and I was paying homage. to Margaret Singana. For me, it was. I feel like we need to keep reminding. We need to keep some parts of our history, with us,
Mm.
and that's even a cover. That's one of the ways we can do that, and that's something I'm definitely. It's here.
I love every
Yeah.
move you make. Tell me about Stand Together. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so have you I see two Babas on that song. Have you ever met two Baba?
No, I
Oh.
haven't. I
Uh,
haven't. I mean, oh, I haven't. I haven't even met Yemi. I haven't
uh,
met. I haven't met anyone. Well,
tell me about that
except
song.
Gigi was on the phone. Pardon?
Can you tell me a bit about that song? And
So yeah. So no. I got sent by my management. They were like, "Hey, one wants you. Would love you to be a part of the song." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
whose
And then I
idea
heard the
was it?
song. It is initiative One Africa, One in Africa
I mean, who wrote the song then?
organization. Pardon?
Who was the songwriter of the? Who actually put the song together?
I do not know, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Great
you know
song.
how it is. Come on, John. You know how it is. They say here's a song, and there were verses on it. So I'm not sure who wrote the chorus. Everybody else wrote their verses because I wrote
Right.
my verse. Yeah, so that's all I knew. Like, hey, here, put your. I'm like, hey, give me. And I put my. I was so excited. I was like, no way. And I listened to the song, and it was incredible. I I,
Mm.
I wrote a verse the night I got the beats. The night I got the song, I wrote my verse, and I was like, yeah. So I was really, really excited to be a part of that. And
Mm.
also the because it's also Pan-African. I always say this and I'll never stop saying it. I always say Africa will save herself. And the only way we can do it is if we stand together. And it seems to be happening through the music, how
Mm.
we are connecting and also relating with each other as well. And I see it happening a lot through the music. And I think that might happen, a one Africa type of dream. I think it's very possible through music. So yeah, so I was very, very excited to be a part of that song. Also for me to be on a song with all these legends. Like I'm such a huge fan of Yemi Alade. I'm such a huge fan of Chubaba. I'm just like,
Mm.
this is insane. So really, really excited to be a part of that. And hope it really does what we hope it will do for people who listen to it. Mm.
Amanda, I love you. And thank
Ah,
you for being on my show. Um, Also, you haven't seen it yet. You're on my MTV based TV show that starts on Wednesday, and
yeah.
the parts you're in, are mind boggling. That show is so cool.
Oh, yay. I can't wait to see it.
And I look forward to. I'm gonna send you the episodes you're in. It really
Yes.
is phenomenal.
Thank
Um,
you.
it's an honor to have met you, and real honor to have you on the show. And I'm glad you enjoyed your chocolate. I hope you did.
I did. I've been on a healthy tip. You're the reason why I'm eating chocolate today. See, now
I'll
I have
take
to
that.
like.
I'm proud of that.
Oh man, thank you so much for having me, John. Thank
Cool.
you.
Have a lovely evening.
You too. Good night.